The year is 1939. The world is holding its breath, but it doesn't know it yet. In cafes across Paris, people sip coffee and read morning newspapers. In London, children play in parks under summer skies. In New York, couples dance to swing music, believing the ocean will keep them safe. They are wrong. A single invasion in Europe will soon pull every continent into the deadliest war in human history. 6 years. 70 million dead. Entire cities erased from maps. Empires that stood for centuries, gone. And when the smoke finally clears, the world will have split atoms, witnessed genocide on an industrial scale, and learned that humanity is capable of horrors beyond imagination. This is the story of World War II. Not just battles and dates, but the moments when everything changed. When the world realized there was no going back. September 1st, 1939. Dawn breaks over Poland. Farmers wake to tend their fields. Families prepare breakfast. Then they hear it, a sound like distant thunder. But the sky is clear. The sound grows louder, closer, until the ground itself begins to shake. German tanks, thousands of them, roll across the border like a mechanical storm. Dive bombers scream overhead, sirens wailing, designed specifically to terrorize. Polish cavalry charges with sabers drawn. Horses against tanks. Courage against steel. It is not enough. The tactic is new. Coordinated. Overwhelming. Tanks break through defensive lines. Planes destroy supply routes and communication centers. Infantry floods through the gaps. Fast. Merciless. Unstoppable. They call it Blitzkrieg, lightning war. Polish soldiers fight with everything they have. But within days, major cities fall. Warsaw holds out for weeks, enduring relentless bombardment. Buildings collapse. Hospitals overflow. Then the Soviet Union invades from the east. Poland is trapped between two giants. By early October, Poland is gone. Divided. Occupied. Erased from the map. Europe watches in stunned silence. Britain and France declare war on Germany, but they do nothing. Historians will call it the phony war. Months pass. No major battles. Just waiting. Preparing. Dreading. Then in May 1940 the nightmare returns. Germany strikes west. Belgium. The Netherlands. Luxembourg. All fall within days. France watches from behind the Maginot Line. A fortress system that took a decade to build. Miles of concrete bunkers. Artillery positions. Tank traps. Underground railways. The French generals are confident. Let them come, they say. Let them break against our walls. But war doesn't attack where you expect it. German forces avoid the Maginot Line entirely. Instead, they drive through the Ardennes forest, a dense, hilly woodland on the Belgian-French border. French commanders had dismissed it as impassable to tanks. They were catastrophically wrong. Thousands of German tanks wind through narrow forest roads. They emerge behind French defensive lines like a dagger in the back. French forces scramble to respond. But the coordination is gone. Communication breaks down. Orders contradict each other. Panic spreads faster than the German advance. Within weeks, German forces reach the English Channel. Allied armies are trapped at Dunkirk, surrounded on three sides, the sea at their backs. Over 300,000 British and French soldiers wait on the beaches, sitting ducks. Then comes one of the war's most unlikely rescues. Hundreds of civilian boats, fishing vessels, pleasure yachts, tugboats, cross the channel under fire to evacuate the trapped army. The Dunkirk evacuation saves the soldiers. But France is finished. Paris falls without a fight. German soldiers march down the Champs-Élysées. The French government flees. On June 22, 1940, in the same railway car where Germany surrendered in 1918, France signs its surrender. Hitler dances a little jig. The footage will be replayed for decades. The nation that had been considered one of the world's great military powers has fallen in just 6 weeks. Britain stands alone. Across the English Channel, Winston Churchill addresses his nation. We shall fight on the beaches, we shall never surrender. But Hitler believes Britain will negotiate peace. They don't. So Germany prepares Operation Sea Lion, the invasion of Britain. But first they must control the skies. Beginning in July 1940, German bombers darken British skies. Night after night, wave after wave, the Blitz has begun. London burns. Coventry is flattened in a single night. Families huddle in underground stations, using subway platforms as bomb shelters. Children sleep to the sound of explosions and air raid sirens. Some wake up to find their homes gone, their streets unrecognizable, their friends missing. Yet Britain refuses to fall. In the air, Royal Air Force pilots, many barely in their 20s, climb into Spitfires and Hurricanes. They are outnumbered, outgunned, exhausted from flying multiple missions per day. Some have only weeks of training. Some are volunteers from Poland, Czechoslovakia, America. Men who have already lost their countries and refuse to lose another. They fight anyway. Dogfights rage over English countryside. Contrails mark the sky like scratches on glass. Pilots with no parachutes. No second chances. Just the knowledge that if they fail, Britain falls. And somehow, against impossible odds, they hold the line. By October, Hitler postpones the invasion indefinitely. Britain has won its first major victory. Churchill will later say, "Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few." June 22, 1941, 3 m. Along a front stretching from the Baltic Sea to the Black Sea, nearly 2,000 miles, Germany launches Operation Barbarossa, the largest invasion in human history. 3 million German soldiers, 3,600 tanks, 2,700 aircraft, all surging into the Soviet Union. Stalin had ignored every warning, ignored intelligence reports, ignored even direct messages from Churchill. He believed Hitler would honor their non-aggression pact. He was wrong. Soviet forces are caught completely unprepared. Entire armies are encircled and destroyed within weeks. Thousands of aircraft are destroyed on the ground before they can take off. German forces advanced 300 miles in the first week. The Blitzkrieg that conquered Poland and France seems unstoppable. Moscow prepares for siege. Government officials evacuate. Civilians dig anti-tank ditches around the city. But Hitler makes a fatal decision. Instead of driving straight to Moscow, he diverts forces south to capture Ukraine's resources and north toward Leningrad. The delays prove costly. Autumn rains turn Russian roads to mud. Tanks get stuck. Supply lines stretch dangerously thin. Then winter arrives early, and it is brutal. Temperatures plunge to -40 degrees. German soldiers are still wearing summer uniforms. They wrap themselves in newspapers for insulation. Engines won't start. Weapons jam in the cold. Soldiers lose fingers and toes to frostbite. Horses, still used to pull artillery, freeze to death by the thousands. Meanwhile, Soviet factories beyond the Ural Mountains work around the clock, producing tanks, planes, ammunition. Fresh Siberian divisions arrive, equipped for winter warfare. The German advance grinds to a halt just miles from Moscow. But the turning point comes further south. Stalingrad, an industrial city on the Volga River. Hitler wants it for strategic reasons, but also because it bears Stalin's name. Taking it would be a symbolic victory. The battle begins in August 1942. German forces push into the city. At first they advance quickly, but the Soviets refuse to retreat across the Volga. Stalin issues Order 227. Not one step back. Deserters will be shot. The city becomes a meat grinder. Fighting moves from streets to buildings, from buildings to floors, from floors to rooms. Hand-to-hand combat with knives, bayonets, and shovels. A soldier's life expectancy is measured in days, sometimes hours. Snipers hunt from rubble. One Russian sniper, Vasily Zaitsev, kills over 200 German soldiers. The Germans send their own master sniper to hunt him. The duel lasts days. Zaitsev wins. By November, German forces control 90% of the city, but they are exhausted, overstretched, starving. Then the Soviets spring their trap. Operation Uranus. Soviet forces punch through weak Romanian and Italian lines on the German flanks and encircle the entire German Sixth Army. Over 250,000 men trapped. Hitler orders them to hold. No retreat. Relief is coming, he promises. Relief never comes. Winter tightens its grip. Supplies run out. Soldiers eat horses, then rats, then boot leather. Some resort to cannibalism. Disease spreads. By February 1943, the survivors surrender. Of the original 250,000 German soldiers, only 6,000 will ever return home. The myth of Nazi invincibility dies in the frozen ruins of Stalingrad. The tide has turned, but the war is about to grow even larger. Half a world away. December 7, 1941, 7:48 a.m. Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. Sunday morning. Sailors eat breakfast. Officers attend church services. Families plan beach outings. Then someone shouts and points at the sky. Japanese planes, wave after wave, dive through the morning sun. Bombs fall. Torpedoes slice through water. The USS Arizona explodes in a massive fireball, killing 1,177 men in minutes. The Oklahoma capsizes, trapping hundreds inside. In less than 2 hours, 8 battleships are sunk or damaged. Nearly 200 aircraft destroyed. 2,400 Americans dead. The United States enters the war. Japan had gambled that one decisive blow would force America to negotiate. Instead, they awakened a giant. The Pacific War is unlike anything in Europe. Island-hopping campaigns across thousands of miles of ocean. Guadalcanal, Tarawa, Saipan, Iwo Jima, Okinawa. Each island is a fortress, defended by soldiers who have been taught that surrender is the ultimate dishonor. American Marines storm beaches under withering fire. They fight through jungles where disease kills as many as bullets. On Iwo Jima, 6,800 Americans died taking an 8-square-mile island. Nearly all 21,000 Japanese defenders fight to the death. Kamikaze pilots deliberately crash planes loaded with explosives into American ships. One-way missions. No parachutes. Just a photograph of their family and a letter home they will never mail. The war in the Pacific is total. Merciless. Neither side gives quarter. Meanwhile, across Europe, something else is happening. Hidden behind barbed wire. Concealed by forests and rail lines and official lies. At first it's ghettos. Jewish families forced from their homes into cramped districts. Walls built to keep them in. Then come the trains. Cattle cars packed so tight people can barely breathe. No food. No water. Trips lasting days. Children ask where they're going. Parents lie and say somewhere better. The trains arrive at places with names that will haunt history. Auschwitz, Treblinka, Sobibor, Bergen-Belsen, Dachau. The passengers are unloaded onto platforms. Families are separated, men to one side, women and children to the other. Many never see each other again. SS officers make selections. Those who look strong enough to work are sent to labor camps. The rest, the elderly, the sick, children, they are told they are going to shower. They are given soap and towels. They enter large rooms, hundreds at a time. The doors lock behind them. But no water comes from the shower heads. Instead, Zyklon B gas pours in. Death takes 15 to 20 minutes. Then the bodies are burned in massive crematoriums that run day and night. Smoke rises from chimneys, visible for miles. The smell of burning flesh hangs in the air. 6 million Jews murdered. But the Holocaust claims others too. Roma people, disabled individuals, political prisoners, homosexuals, Soviet POWs, Jehovah's Witnesses. The total death toll, 11 million. Some survivors will later say the hardest part wasn't the camps themselves, but returning after liberation to find their entire families gone. Their communities erased. No one to remember their children's names. This is the darkest chapter of human history. A systematic, industrialized attempt to erase entire peoples from existence. When Allied soldiers finally liberate the camps in 1945, hardened combat veterans break down and weep. Eisenhower orders everything photographed and documented. Get it all on record, he says, because somewhere down the road of history some bastard will get up and say this never happened. By 1944, the Allies are ready to strike back. 2 years of planning. Gathering forces. Building an armada. The target? Fortress Europe. Hitler knows the invasion is coming. He just doesn't know where or when. The Allies mount an elaborate deception. Fake armies. False radio traffic. Double agents. All pointing to an invasion at Calais. Hitler positions his strongest forces there. The real target is Normandy. June 6, 1944. D-Day. The largest amphibious invasion ever attempted. 5,000 ships. 11,000 aircraft. 156,000 soldiers crossing the English Channel. American, British, Canadian, French, Polish, and so many others. Eisenhower writes 2 speeches the night before. One for success. One for failure. He fears the second will be needed. The attack begins before dawn with paratroopers dropping behind German lines. Many miss their zones. Some land in flooded fields and drown. Others land in town squares and are shot before they hit the ground. But enough survive to cause chaos behind enemy lines. At first light, naval bombardment begins. Battleships unleash thunder. Then the landing craft approach the beaches. 5 beaches. 5 code names. Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juneau, Sword. 4 men on Omaha Beach. The landing is hell. Ramps drop. Machine guns open fire immediately. Men fall before they reach the water. Bodies float in the surf, turning the water red. Some soldiers don't make it past the beach. Others find cover behind steel obstacles and bodies of their comrades. Medics work frantically, knowing they're likely to be hit next. Officers shout orders that can't be heard over the gunfire. Some soldiers freeze. Others keep running. Because stopping means death. For hours the outcome hangs in balance. Then, slowly, through courage and sacrifice, small groups fight their way off the beaches, up the cliffs, into the defenses. By nightfall the Allies have a foothold. The casualties are staggering, over 4,400 Allied soldiers dead on the first day. But they are in. The liberation of Europe has begun. Over the following months, Allied forces push inland. Through hedgerow country where every field is a fortress. Through French villages where civilians weep with joy and hand out wine and flowers. Through Belgium. Into the Netherlands. Paris is liberated in August. General de Gaulle leads French forces down the Champs-Élysées in triumph. But the war is far from over. In December, Hitler launches one final desperate counterattack. The Battle of the Bulge. German forces punch through American lines in the Ardennes forest. The same forest where they had surprised France in 1940. In freezing winter conditions, surrounded American forces at Bastogne refused to surrender. When the Germans demand surrender, General McAuliffe responds with a single word: nuts. After weeks of brutal fighting, the German offensive fails. It is Germany's last gasp. By early 1945, Allied forces cross the Rhine into Germany itself. From the east, the Soviets advance even faster. Fueled by rage and revenge. Cities that once stood for 1,000 years are reduced to rubble. Dresden, Hamburg, Berlin itself. Strategic bombing campaigns have destroyed German industry, but also killed hundreds of thousands of civilians. In the east, Soviet soldiers exact terrible revenge for what was done to their country. The violence is cyclical, endless. April 1945. Soviet forces encircle Berlin. Artillery shells rain down on the city. Street fighting consumes every block. Hitler retreats to his bunker. 50 feet beneath the Reich Chancellery. The empire he promised would last 1,000 years is collapsing in ruins around him. His closest advisors beg him to flee, to negotiate. He refuses. On April 30th, with Soviet forces blocks away, Hitler takes his own life. His body is burned in a crater outside the bunker. The man who plunged the world into war dies in a hole in the ground. On May 7, 1945, Germany surrenders unconditionally. In London, in Paris, in New York, people pour into the streets, crying, laughing, embracing strangers. V-Day. Victory in Europe. But half a world away the war continues. Japan fights on. The island-hopping campaign has brought American forces to Japan's doorstep. On Okinawa, the fighting was so intense that 1/4 of the civilian population died. American military planners estimate that invading the Japanese home islands could cost 1 million Allied casualties and tens of millions of Japanese lives. President Truman faces an impossible choice. America has developed a new weapon, one so powerful it defies comprehension: the atomic bomb. The Manhattan Project. 3 years, $2 billion. The greatest scientific minds of the era. All to split the atom and harness the power of the sun. August 6, 1945. 8:15 a.m. A B-29 bomber named Enola Gay releases a single bomb over Hiroshima. A city of 350,000 people. Families eating breakfast. Workers beginning their shifts. Students heading to school. The bomb falls for 43 seconds. Then detonates 1,900 feet above the city. For one instant, the temperature at ground zero reaches 7,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Hotter than the surface of the sun. People within half a mile are vaporized instantly. All that remains are shadows burned into walls. The blast wave follows. Buildings collapse like paper. Fires ignite across the city. A mushroom cloud rises 40,000 feet into the sky, visible for hundreds of miles. 70,000 people die instantly. Thousands more die slowly from radiation sickness. Their hair falling out. Their skin peeling. Their bodies betraying them. Japan does not surrender. 3 days later, a second bomb falls on Nagasaki. Another 40,000 dead. On August 15th, Emperor Hirohito addresses his nation by radio, the first time most Japanese people have heard his voice. The war situation has developed not necessarily to Japan's advantage. Japan surrenders. World War II is over. The guns fall silent. But the cost is almost incomprehensible. More than 70 million dead. Soldiers and civilians. Named and unnamed. Children who never grew up. parents who never returned home, entire families wiped from existence, cities that took centuries to build, destroyed in hours, cultures erased, languages lost, whole ways of life gone forever. Europe is in ruins. Japan is shattered. Colonial empires are crumbling. Two new superpowers, America and the Soviet Union, divide the world between them. The Cold War begins before the Hot War has truly ended. The United Nations is founded on the principle, never again. But that promise will be tested. Again and again. World War II doesn't end with celebration. It ends with exhaustion. With grief. With the terrible knowledge of what humans are capable of doing to each other. The Holocaust showed that evil isn't just the work of monsters, but of ordinary people who follow orders. Of bureaucrats who process paperwork. Of neighbors who turn away. The atomic bomb showed that humanity now possesses the power to destroy itself. We had split the atom. We could never unsplit it. Survivors return home to find their world forever changed. Veterans who cannot speak of what they've seen. Children who grew up without parents. Cities that will take decades to rebuild. Trauma that will echo through generations. But the most dangerous legacy isn't the destruction. It's the forgetting. As time passes, the details blur. Black and white footage becomes abstract. Statistics become just numbers. The survivors grow old and die, taking their stories with them. We build memorials. We hold ceremonies. We say, never forget. But memory fades. And hatred never does. Today, 80 years later, the world faces familiar echoes. Authoritarian leaders testing boundaries. Democracy showing cracks. Propaganda spreading faster than truth. Scapegoating. Nationalism. Fear. The same ingredients that lit the match in 1939. History doesn't repeat exactly, but it rhymes. And right now, the rhythm is starting to sound familiar. World War II taught us that evil must be confronted. That silence is complicity. That democracy is fragile. That civilization is a thin veneer. And that the worst atrocities begin not with war but with words. With othering. With small compromises that seem reasonable at the time. So we're left with a question. Not about history. About today. About tomorrow. Are we paying attention? Are we learning? Or are we just holding our breath again?